Hey there, I'm Effie Jo Stock, author of Child of the Dragon Prophecy, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's been a while since I've done a video, as many of you may know. So today's video is going to be a sort of reintroductory to myself and my channel, along with things that you can expect from me, my books, and my other platforms in 2022. So let's get started. There are always characters that everybody just loves. Before I get started into some of the new expectations and exciting new projects that I have for 2022, I just wanted to make a quick recap of 2021 and some of the exciting accomplishments that happened. Chief of which, of course, was the publication of my debut novel, Child of the Dragon Prophecy. I still can't believe that it is published. I'm a published author after 6 years of hard work, but that did happen last year, and it has been an incredible journey. Another huge accomplishment that came with it was I sold over 100 physical copies and then had over 600 Kindle downloads, which is just unfathomable. Absolutely blows my mind. I cannot believe it. So thank you so much to everybody who's downloaded and bought Child of the Dragon Prophecy. I hope that you enjoy it as much as I did writing it, and that is a blessing to you, and that you're excited for book 2, which will be coming out in 2022. I also grew my Instagram account to 1,000 followers, which was a huge milestone for me. It's kind of one of those moments where you feel like you've made it. So that was exciting. I did start my YouTube channel, which I enjoyed doing until I kind of fell off the bandwagon. I got a new job, which allows me to do a lot more things with my books, including making fun merch and doing more special edition hardbacks and some of the neat projects that I have coming up in 2022. I beat NaNoWriMo twice, and I went to like a first slam poetry reading and read some of my poetry for the first time out loud, which was terrifying. So with that out of the way, 2021 was a great year, but I'm so looking forward to 2022. So I'm going to kind of go through the list of things that I'm hoping to do and get done in 2022, and then I'll kind of dive into why I've decided a few things, because I know some of these decisions are probably going to come as a shock to a few people. First of all, I want to start with my publication schedule, and this is probably going to be the thing that most people want to hear about and are excited about. So I'll just go ahead and jump right into that. So the first thing I'll be publishing in 2022 is Aphotic Love, which is the anthology I put together on the deeper aspects of romantic love. I'm super excited for this anthology. I have close to probably anywhere between 60 and 80 short stories and poems in it from an incredible cast of authors, and some of the stories I've really come to love. And I've kind of adopted them, so they all feel like they're my stories now. And that will be coming out in March 2022. You didn't hear it from me. Officially but unofficially, the hopeful release day is March 28th of 2022. So it's possible it will change, but that's the day that I'm shooting for. So don't spoil the news for everybody, but that is the unofficial official date. The second thing that I will be publishing in 2022 is the second book in my series, The Shadows of Light, Heir of Two Kingdoms. Heir of Two Kingdoms is the sequel to Child of the Dragon Prophecy, which I know many people are very eagerly awaiting for, especially with the cliffhanger ending from Child of the Dragon Prophecy. And its release will be in July of 2022. I don't have a release date for it just yet, but we're shooting for July. And then what I know most of you want to hear is that Ash Black and the Seven Wolves will be coming out in October of 2022, and I wanted to hear it as well. However, I have decided, sadly, not to publish Ash Black this year. It's sad for me, and I know it might come as a shock to a few people, but with everything else that's going on and the amount of time and effort that I'll need to get my third book out, along with some of my other new projects, I want to do Ash Black justice, and I can't do that in the short span of time between July and October. So that's it for my publication schedule of the year, and now I'd like to move on to some of the topics that I want to expand into this year, with blog posts along with YouTube videos, IGTV videos, and then I'll kind of touch on a little bit in some other posts on Facebook and Instagram. So first I have publishing tips and tricks. Not that I know too much more since I've only published one book, but I do have a lot more knowledge under my belt now than I did before I published Child of the Dragon Prophecy, and a lot of that knowledge comes especially from what I know about BookBaby, which is one of the distribution companies and printing companies you can use as an indie author. Not many people use it, and I've had lots of people asking about it. I've decided that I would like to make a series for both blog posts and YouTube videos on BookBaby, some of the pros and the cons, and whether or not it's good for you. Some of the other publishing tips that I have will be formatting on Microsoft Word, along with making your own cover, sizing it in Photoshop, and making your own merch as well. And I also have some great ideas for writing tip videos and blog posts. The next thing I'm hoping to make more videos and posts about is theology. So I know many of you aren't necessarily here to hear about theology, but theology is a huge part of what I do in my writing. It actually helps me build out the world better for Child of the Dragon Prophecy and Heir of Two Kingdoms and the whole rest of the series. Even with things like Ash Black, I draw a lot of my world building inspiration from theology, and it helps strengthen the sort of moral aspects of the book, characters striving sort of good against evil, and other things like that. So I will be touching on a little bit about how theology has kind of shaped my writing and why I write into my books what I do. And then I saved the best for last. I will be making lots and lots of posts and videos on world building. So one of the things that I personally love the most about writing, especially with epic fantasy, is world building, and I know that is also one of the things my readers love most about Child of the Dragon Prophecy. So I like to kind of not only expound upon the world and explain some of the things that go on in the world of Rasa, but also make some videos that help you guys understand better how to world build in your own worlds and your own fantasies. So I'm super excited about that. Some of those videos will include map making, timelines, languages, cultures, religions, magic systems, and also legends, along with creatures, which we know are probably the funnest part of fantasy. So I have lots of videos planned out for that, and I'm super excited to debut those and kind of not only bring you guys deeper into Rasa, my world, but also to get you deeper into your worlds as well. The next thing I want to talk about before I move on to my projects that I'll be working on this year, besides Aphotic Love and Heir of Two Kingdoms, I just want to make a quick note about some of the changes that will be coming to my platforms. The most obvious, which has already been seen on Instagram and Facebook, I will be talking a lot more about Child of the Dragon Prophecy. So even since its release, I haven't talked much about it, and it's kind of made me a little bit sad to not talk about it as much since I am so passionate about it and I love it so much. But that is one thing that you're going to see a lot more of, is Child of the Dragon Prophecy and Heir of Two Kingdoms. And of course you'll see Aphotic Love too, but mainly you'll see the Shadows of Light books. And the reason for this is mainly just because I haven't felt like I've been posting too much about what I want to post, or that I feel like God has called me to post about. So I really want to kind of re-find being genuine and posting what makes me happy. So I really hope that my excitement for my books will pour over into my followers, and that they will also be equally as excited. So hopefully you guys want to hear more about the Shadows of Light series, because you will be. The next change I'm going to be making that's going to be pretty obvious is niching down. And I know I never say that word correctly, so hopefully I did. But I'm going to be focusing a lot more on epic fantasy in general. Of course, like I said, world building and theology, things like that. Things that are close to heart for me, but that also relate very closely to the things I do as an author and as a person in general. But I do ask that you bear with me. It's extremely hard to break out into a new sort of community, I guess, of people who might like a very specific type of thing. I've struggled for a really long time trying to fit into like the Instagram algorithm with making reels and doing trends, and I know the key is to turn the trend into your own thing, but I haven't been able to do that very well, or at least not in a way that I feel like I'm really being genuine or really talking about the things that I want to talk about. So hopefully I'll either find a way to make the trends my own, or I'll just be branching out into doing some new and different things that are a little bit more specific to my target audience and also to myself. The last thing I want to talk about today are my projects for 2022. Now, I am extremely excited for Heir of Two Kingdoms, and it still needs some work. I need to finish editing it first, and then I'm going to send it to my editor, H.A. Pruitt, before it is published. And of course we have the cover reveal coming up and all those wonderful projects and pros and cons that come with launch day and everything. But what I'm most excited about with my projects are going to be the Legends of Rasa World Guide and the commentary that I would like to write for it. So there's a lot that goes into Rasa My World and the Shadows of Light series that doesn't get touched on in the books, or it gets touched on very briefly, especially with the world building and thus the world guide. So think Marvel Encyclopedia mixed with the Dungeons and Dragons monster manual sort of idea, and throw in Rasa. Basically it's going to be a big hardcover book full of beautiful full-page, full-color illustrations where you can see all of the characters, not just the main ones like Stefania, Dalton, and Trojan, but also some of the lesser characters like Jargon, Jackson, Nemeth, and other characters like that. You'll also be able to see full-color illustrations of objects like the Sinolikai blade, the Shadow Armor, which is a sort of spoiler from Heir of Two Kingdoms, along with things like the Transfalls Waterfall and Nemeth's house from Child of the Dragon Prophecy. So I'm really excited about that. You'll be able to get a lot of interesting, juicy details from the world guide that you don't get in Child of the Dragon Prophecy or Heir of Two Kingdoms, and it'll really just bring the whole world to life a lot more. And same with the commentary books. So there's a lot that goes into Child of the Dragon Prophecy, and especially Heir of Two Kingdoms, which you'll see once it comes out, that doesn't get touched up on much in the books because it goes so much deeper, and there's so much more meaning behind some of the things that are said, some of the world building that just you can't really put into a fantasy book. So I'm coming out with commentary books. I've started drafting some outlines and trying to get all of the ideas to fit together, but I'm really excited for those because the world guide and the commentary books will go hand in hand and help you to understand the world a little bit better and a little bit deeper. So those are my upcoming projects. The world guide and commentary books for both Child of the Dragon Prophecy and Heir of Two Kingdoms will hopefully, fingers crossed, hopefully be releasing in the spring of 2023 if everything goes well. So that's what I'm going to be working on this year, and those are some of the things you can be looking forward to. So if you have any ideas for some videos or anything you want to know about from Rasa My World, any world building tips, writing tips, publication tips, drop them in the comments below, and I will put them on the list of videos to make. Until then, I will be busy making some content for you guys, and thank you so much for following me and being patient through this journey. If you haven't read Child of the Dragon Prophecy, then I suggest you go read it, because that's what everything's going to be centering around now. So I highly suggest that you go read that and kind of join what I'm going to be doing here. So thank you so much for watching, and may the sun smile upon your presence. I don't know. This is exhausting, but it's okay.